How's it going, YouTube? It is Docky or Docky Style Gaming, and in this video I'm going to be bringing you another Anthem news and info video where we will be discussing all the things that we got from Twitter this week, new Twitter questions from John Warner and Mark Dara. We're going to be covering some new information that happened with BioWare Studios themselves and the game Anthem in general, and talking about some pretty interesting info and picks that we got from the Edmonton Expo, which BioWare and Anthem were both in attendance at this past weekend. So without further ado, let's get straight into the new news and information, and let's start off with two of the most interesting bit of information and news that we got from Anthem this week. Now, this first bit of information isn't even directly tied to Anthem, but could potentially mean for bigger and better things come the actual release of Anthem. So for those of you who might be out of the loop, today Sony/PlayStation 4 announced that they will be starting cross-platform play today on Fortnite, meaning PlayStation, Xbox, and Nintendo Switch players will all be able to play Fortnite together. Now, why is this a big deal, you may ask? This is something that really isn't heard of in anything. I'm trying to even think of a game that lets you have crossplay with all of the gaming platforms, and I can't. Now, this is a huge thing because that's one of the questions that's always been asked to Anthem devs. Would crossplay be a thing? And of course, they always give us not at launch, it's unlikely, we're not sure, and other things like that. But seeing how now that Sony can actually do this and is willing to do this, the likelihood of crossplay for Anthem has actually increased now. And then to add on top of that, Steve Anderson, one of the senior analysts for Anthem, actually retweeted the post by PlayStation with a pair of shifty eyes, so maybe this could be something that could actually come to Anthem now. Again, who knows? But now that the door is open, let's see how many other game developers and companies are going to come through and actually put cross-platform in other games if Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo keep continuing to do this. Because again, Anthem with cross-platform would be fantastic and would be an amazing way to get to play with all of the subs on the channel, and would continue to be huge for the gaming community. Now, this next bit of info is another pretty big thing to come from Anthem themselves. Well, BioWare and Casey Hudson, who is the general manager. According to BioWare and Casey Hudson, Anthem is now officially in alpha. Now, for those of you who are wondering what them being in alpha means, this means, according to Casey Hudson, that every part of the game is in and functioning. Now, this doesn't mean that the game is completely done or finished, but this does mean that they can go in, do some bug fixes, check out glitches, make sure that everything is worked out and polished, and now also paves the way for alpha playtesting, both privately within the studio and potentially closed alpha playtesting to the public. So this is definitely huge news for Anthem and BioWare, and actually confirms that they are set to release within its scheduled time frame, so we shouldn't be expecting any delays or the game being pushed back, because they are in alpha and now it's time for them to polish the game, work out some bug fixes, and potentially get some alpha playtesting in. Now that we got the two biggest things out of the way, let's start covering some Twitter questions from John Warner, and then we'll go head over to the Mark Dara questions. Now, John Warner only had two different things that was asked of him this week on Twitter. The first one he was asked was about which Javelin would be the best for buffing and healing. And what John Warner had to say on this subject was, it's not as straightforward as you would think. When fallen in battle, it's hard to beat the Colossus's ability to wade into chaos and save you. So definitely seems like the Colossus will be the Javelin to go to help get some of your teammates out of a sticky situation or when they become downed. Next question asked to John Warner was, by looking at some of the new gameplay trailer, they saw that the smoke coming out of the Javelins was black. So they asked John Warner if the Javelins were eco-friendly, and according to John Warner, yes, Javelins are apparently 100% eco-friendly. So not really news, but I thought that was something pretty funny I wanted to throw on there anyway. Now, let's get to the Mark Dara questions. So this one kind of ties into the questions from last week's news video when I was talking about the different weapons that Javelin Javelins could and couldn't use. So according to Mark Dara, one of the weapons that the Storm can't use apparently are the Colossus's heavy weapons. He said that the Storm can pretty much use everything else except the Colossus's heavy weapons. His machine guns, his miniguns, his huge cannons, railguns, things of that nature, the Storm cannot actually equip and use in game. This next question is actually a customization question, and a new customization question at that. So when asked if we'd be able to customize the interiors of our Javelin, so when you're hopping into your Javelin and you see the like mesh on the inside, if we'd be able to change the patterns or colors of that, what Mark Dara had to say on the subject was that they have discussed interior customization for the Javelins, but it's not at launch, but also maybe. So this could be something they could potentially add post-launch or later in the game, but it's really not that big a deal because how many times are we truly going to be looking inside of our Javelins? Now these next two questions are older questions, but I always like to throw in a couple old questions just in case somebody's new to the video, and I get a bunch of old questions from things I've covered in older videos in my comment section of my newer videos, so I do always occasionally throw in some older questions for those people who might be new to the channel. So one of the questions that was asked was if we'd be able to earn the pre-order exclusives, and Mark Dara did say that no, you cannot earn the pre-order exclusives in game, meaning the Legion of Dawn skins or the Founder's banner. So if you guys really want those skins and don't want to miss out on them, just pre-order the game. I know some people aren't a fan of pre-ordering games and want to wait, but $5 isn't too much to pre-order a game to get a badass skin and an awesome banner that you'll be one of those select few players that actually still says, look at what I have. And for Warframe players, look at this as the Excal Prime. This is probably going to be something you won't want to miss out on, and you don't want to regret looking back days or years later after the game release and being like, man, I should have picked up that skin, I should have got that banner. So definitely, if you guys are interested in the skin or banner from the pre-order exclusive, pre-order the game because you cannot earn them at all in the game. Now this next question is something I've covered on the channel as well, but they were asking about multiple character accounts, and yes, you can have multiple characters on the same account. So your friends, your siblings, or children can all play on the same account with different characters in Anthem. The next question that was asked was about health, and they asked if we'd be able to give health to our teammates. What Mark Dara had to say on this was, not at the moment. So again, potentially could be something that may come later on down the line, but who knows, would be interesting, and we do know that there will be some form of healing and support in the game. So again, this could be something that could be implemented later on down the road in Anthem's life. This next question, I know I've covered this before, but it's been a while ago. But when asked if we'd be able to customize our Javelins as soon as we unlock them, Mark Dara did say yes, we will be able to. So as soon as you unlock a Javelin, you can customize it, except for the Ranger. You have to complete the tutorial for the Ranger, and then you can customize the Ranger. But even that is still very, very early on in the game. The next question that was asked was how many Javelins we could have, and Mark Dara did say that each freelancer can have 4 Javelins, but multiple loadouts per Javelin. So don't plan on having double of every Javelin, just get your 1 Javelin and make multiple loadouts per Javelin. And now this last question asked to Mark Dara was about cross-save. Don't get it mixed up with cross-platform play. Cross-save is something completely different, and I've covered it a couple times in some of my videos. But when asked about cross saves and if we'd be getting it in Anthem, Mark Dara did say not at launch. Now, this question has been asked so many times and we keep getting mixed answers from all the different devs. Not at launch, it may happen, it may not, it's not likely, we could see it, maybe, possibly, things of that nature. So until we actually get a true confirmation on cross saves, I'm actually not going to cover this anymore on my videos because even the devs don't seem to know right now, so I'll just wait until we get true confirmation on this. Now that we got all the Twitter questions out the way, let's cover the last 2 things in this video. The first thing was posted by Anthem's official Twitter, and it was called The Ways to Play Anthem, and it was a chart that summarizes pretty much everything that you'll be able to play, trials, the release date, the demo dates, and everything like that. I'll post it on the screen for you right here, and and I'll give you a brief summary of everything that the chart pretty much says. So all platforms will have the demo February 1st. PC will have the full game early access on February 15th if you have Origin Premier. Xbox and PC players with basic EA or Origin access will get a 10-hour trial, and this trial will progress and carry over to the full game. And Mark Dare did actually make a point to say that it is 10 hours per account. So if you have multiple accounts with EA or Origin access, you can play per account. PS4, on the other hand, will only get the demo and the standard release date of the game. There are no early accesses or trials for PlayStation 4, sadly. And then of course, the standard release of the game for all platforms is February 22nd, 2019. So here's the chart again if you want to check it out and screenshot it or do whatever you want with it, just in case you wanted to get one more glance at it. But yeah, so sadly, PlayStation, we're not getting much, but we still will get the demo, which is going to be, again, they said pretty much the game in its entirety, with some closed off sections, of course, not to spoil the game. But in terms of early access, sorry PlayStation players, and that's me, myself as well, we won't be getting any early access, but that's why I have a backup Xbox and my PC ready to play some early access, just so I can put some content on the channel for y'all when the early access of the game drops. And now the last bit of news and information that we got came from the Edmonton Expo, which was last weekend. We got to see some more of those man-made javelins, the ones that were crafted using the actual images, like details, all the different specs sent from BioWare to craft these suits. But also we got some look at some of the weapons for the Ranger, the Colossus, and the Interceptor. So for the Ranger, we got a closer look at one of the rifles that he'll be using in the game, and then for the Colossus, we got a look at one of the miniguns that he uses in the game, and then for the Interceptor, we got a look at the pistol that will be used in the game. Now, we don't know what tier of weapons these are. These could be common weapons, these could be legendary, uncommon, rare, who knows, but I thought it was pretty cool that we have some pretty close-up looks at some of these weapons and real-life versions of them at that. So that's pretty much all I got for this video, guys. Thanks again for watching. You guys are the best. I'm getting so close to 3,000 subs. It is crazy. Remember, if we hit 3,200, I believe by the 6th of October, we will be doing a second Anthem game giveaway. So like, comment, share, do whatever you want. Get my videos out and the channel out. Let as many people see them as you possibly can. So again, thank you guys for all the subs. Thank you guys for all the love. I'll catch y'all on the next one. Peace.